The night did not begin with silence. It began with a scream. Not the kind that fades into the wind, but the kind that stays, clinging to the walls of a compound like smoke that refuses to rise. The scream came from the Obi family house, the largest compound in Umuaka village, where celebration had turned into something else, something older, something that had been waiting. On the night of his 90th birthday, Chief Obi gathered his entire bloodline under one roof. Children, grandchildren, distant relatives, and strangers who called themselves family. They came to celebrate longevity, but something else had come to collect. Palm wine flowed, drums echoed, the air smelled of roasted goat meat and burning incense. The elders laughed loudly, their voices thick with pride and memory. And at the center of it all sat Chief Obi, his skin stretched thin over his bones, his eyes dim but knowing. He kept glancing toward the entrance, as if he was expecting someone or something. That was when she arrived. No one saw her walk in, no one saw the gate open, but suddenly she was there, standing quietly among the guests. She looked exactly like Ada, Chief Obi's granddaughter, the quiet one, the problematic one, the one the family whispered about. But Ada was already inside the house. Two Adas, one seen, one unseen, and only the ancestors knew which one was real. The new Ada smiled too easily, her eyes lingered too long, her presence too heavy. But no one noticed, because in a house filled with noise, truth is always the quietest thing. Inside the kitchen, Ada, the real one, scrubbed pots with trembling hands. Sweat dripped down her face despite the cool night air. She had been working since morning. No rest, no praise, only commands. "Faster," her aunt barked. "You think guests will serve themselves?" Ada nodded quickly. "I'm trying, Auntie." But her voice was small, always small. Because in this house, Ada was never enough. Never good enough, never clean enough, never innocent enough. And yet, every misfortune somehow led back to her. Missing money? Ada. Broken plates? Ada. Spoiled food? Ada. But tonight, it would go beyond blame. Tonight, the truth would demand blood. Because when a spirit enters a house through celebration, it does not come to dance, it comes to reveal. Outside, the drums grew louder, the masquerades began to circle. Children laughed, women ululated, men drank deeply. And then, Chief Obi stood up. Silence fell like a command. "I have lived long," he said, his voice thin but firm, "and tonight I will speak what must be spoken before I join my ancestors." The air shifted, even the wind paused. "I have seen things in this house, things that do not belong to the living." Murmurs spread, uneasy laughter. Someone tried to dismiss it. "Papa is old," they whispered. But Chief Obi was not finished. "There is a spirit among us." The drums stopped, completely. A child began to cry, and then someone laughed. It was Ada, but not the Ada in the kitchen. The Ada standing among the guests stepped forward slowly. Her smile stretched too wide, too perfect. "Grandfather," she said sweetly, "you must be tired." Her voice was wrong, not loud, not harsh, just wrong, like two voices speaking at once. Chief Obi's eyes widened, recognition,
fear, regret. "You," he whispered. He had seen her before, not as a child, not as flesh, but in dreams, in warnings, in the place where ancestors speak in riddles. "You should not be here," he said, his voice shaking. The crowd turned to Ada, confused, suspicious, judging. Because of them, this was the Ada they knew, and just like always, the real Ada would be blamed. Inside the kitchen, Ada suddenly froze. The pot slipped from her hand, clanged loudly against the floor. Her heart began to race, not from fear, but from something deeper, something pulling. She could feel it. A presence, a connection, a mirror. She whispered to herself, "She's here." Back outside, the other Ada tilted her head, smiling. "You invited me," she said softly. Gasps. Chief Obi shook his head. "No, no, I sealed that door." Doors do not close, they only wait. The wind howled suddenly, the lanterns flickered, and then Ada screamed. The real one, from inside the house. Everyone turned, and what they saw next would never leave them. Ada stumbled out of the kitchen. Her body was shaking violently, her eyes not fully hers. And then they saw it, her hand twisting, bending, as if something inside it was trying to escape. She screamed again, fell to her knees. "No, please, it's not me. I didn't do anything." But no one moved, because this confirmed everything they believed. "She's possessed. She's the problem. I told you." The accusations came like stones, fast, sharp, unforgiving. Meanwhile, the other Ada stood calmly, watching, enjoying. One sister cried for help, the other fed on her suffering. Chief Obi tried to speak, to warn them, but it was too late. The spirit had chosen its stage, and the family had already chosen their victim. Suddenly, Ada's hand snapped backward unnaturally. A sickening crack echoed. She screamed, a sound so raw it silenced even the wind. And then everything went still, until one man stepped forward. Tall, broad, feared. Obina, the man the village called powerful, the man no woman wanted, but no family dared refuse. He looked at Ada, not with fear, but with interest, because he saw something the others did not. Not madness, not weakness, but potential. He said quietly, "She is the one." The crowd turned to him. "What do you mean?" someone asked. Obina smiled slightly. "Give her to me." Silence. "She needs control," he continued, "and I am the only one who can give it." Ada looked up at him, terrified, broken, but something in his eyes made the air colder, because behind his calm was something ancient, something waiting. The other Ada smiled wider, because the trap was closing perfectly. They thought they were giving her away to be punished, but they were offering her to destiny, and destiny had teeth.
In Umwaka village, truth does not arrive gently. It forces its way in, through pain. The night did not recover from Ada's scream. It stretched, it thickened, like something alive, watching. Ada lay on the ground, trembling, her fingers still bent in ways no human hand should survive. Her breath came in broken pieces. Her eyes searched the faces around her, not for help, but for mercy. But mercy is expensive in a house that has already chosen your guilt. "Bind her." The voice came sharply, cold, decisive. It was Auntie. Two men stepped forward immediately, grabbing Ada before she could even plead. "I didn't do anything," she cried. "I swear on the ancestors, I didn't." "Enough," Auntie snapped. You have brought shame to this house for the last time." Every word spoken against Ada, it was a seed that had been planted long before that night. Tonight, they were harvesting. They dragged her toward the center of the compound, tied her wrists with rough rope, ignoring the way her twisted hand made her scream again. No one flinched, not even the children, because fear had already decided what truth looked like. And in fear, the loudest lie always wins. Then, a voice cut through the chaos. Calm, measured, dangerous. "Stop." The entire compound froze. Obina stepped forward slowly. His presence did not demand attention, it took it. Some men are feared for what they do, others for what they are. Obina looked down at Ada. His gaze lingered on her twisted hand, then on her eyes, not with pity, but recognition. "She is not the problem," he said quietly. Murmurs erupted. Auntie scoffed. "Then what is she, a blessing?" she spat. Obina did not look at her. "She is incomplete." Silence. Ada's breathing slowed slightly, confusion cutting through her pain. "What does that mean?" someone whispered. Obina finally lifted his gaze, scanning the crowd, measuring them. "You are looking at the symptom," he said, "not the source." Because Obina was not speaking like a man. He was speaking like someone who had seen beyond the veil. From the edge of the crowd, the other Ada watched, still, smiling, as if she had been waiting for this moment. Chief Obi struggled to his feet. His hands were shaking. His breath was uneven. "No," he whispered. "No, it has started." All eyes turned to him. "You knew?" Auntie asked sharply. Chief Obi's silence was the answer enough. Gasps spread like fire. Secrets buried for decades have a way of breathing again. "I tried to stop it," Chief Obi said weakly. "I sealed it. I thought it ended with me." "What did you do?" someone demanded. His eyes moved slowly, until they landed on Ada. "I made a promise," he said. The word hit the air like thunder. A promise to something that should never have been called. Cut to fake Ada close-up. Her smile widened slightly. Because promises made in desperation do not disappear. They wait. "What promise?" Obina asked quietly. Chief Obi hesitated, fear crawling across his face. "I asked for a child," he whispered. "A lineage that would never end." The crowd leaned in, and something answered. The wind rose suddenly, dust swirling across the compound. "But it did not give freely," he continued. "It asked for balance." Ada's eyes widened, tears falling silently now. "What kind of balance?" she whispered. Chief Obi closed his eyes. "A second soul." Silence. "A shadow to walk beside the light." Gasps. Auntie stepped back slightly. No, that's not possible." But deep down, she already knew. Because the truth had always been there, hidden in every accusation, every misfortune, every moment Ada was blamed for something she could not explain. "There was never one Ada," Chief Obi said. "From the moment she was born, there were two." Her breathing becomes erratic. "No," she whispered. "No, that's not true." But her body knew it was. For the first time, the other Ada moves closer. The crowd parts without understanding why. Her eyes lock onto Ada, and for a brief moment, they mirror each other perfectly. Not sisters by birth, but by binding. "I grew because you fed me," the other Ada said softly, her voice now clearer, stronger. "Every time they blamed you," she tilted her head, "you believed them." Ada shook her head violently. "No, no." "Yes," the spirit whispered, "and belief is power." Rising tension. Ada's body jerked suddenly. Her twisted hand lifted slightly on its own. Gasps erupted. "She's doing it again." "No!" Ada screamed. "I'm not!" But her voice was breaking because something inside her was no longer asking. It was taking. Obina stepped forward again. "Enough," he said. The air shifted, heavy, commanding. Even the wind seemed to obey him. He looked at Chief Obi. "You broke a law older than this village," he said, "and now the balance is correcting itself." Chief Obi's legs gave out. He collapsed into his chair. "What can we do?" Auntie asked, fear finally replacing anger. Obina's eyes returned to Ada. "There is only one way to restore balance. Silence. She must be given." Ada froze. "To who?" someone asked. Obina did not answer immediately. Then he stepped closer. "To me." Gasps. "No!" Ada cried, but no one moved to defend her because fear had changed shape. It was no longer about punishment, it was about survival. And in a house ruled by fear, sacrifice always feels like logic. The other Ada smiled again, slow, satisfied, because everything was unfolding exactly as it should. The family thought they were ending a curse, but they were about to awaken something far worse.
If you enjoy this story, kindly let me know what you think in the comments. Also, tell me where you are watching from.
Kindly watch out for the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more.